Good morning, everyone. Guys, we're going to be talking about conscription in the United Kingdom in this video. Now, people are talking about, conscription this, conscription that. And, I think it is coming, but it's not going to be labeled as conscription. Now, so what we're talking about here, guys, is we've got a lot of European armies, a lot of people in the east of Europe. They're talking about conscription. It's happening. People are getting ready for a conflict with the Russians. If you've been following this channel, you know that I've been saying that we're heading towards a global conflict of an industrial scale. The United States will focus on a conflict in the Middle East, because logistically they're the only ones who can pull it off, and the United Kingdom will have to take the leading role in Europe against the Russians. Now, whether that's under the NATO badge, whether they're going to be wearing again NATO t-shirts, whether it's going to be European Army t-shirts, whether it's going to be the military aid mission Ukraine t-shirts, doesn't really matter what the t-shirt is that those guys are wearing, but Britain will take the lead role. Now, Britain will take the lead role because Britain has the biggest and the most potent strike capacity. And if you start using conscripts as part of your strike capacity, then you dilute the potency of that strike capacity. You do, because you're having to use people who are unmotivated, people who are lacking training, people who just generally don't want to be there. But there is a role for these people in the rear echelon, in logistical supply chains. There's a whole, host of supporting roles that could be used. Now, I'm going to use that as the basis of this video while we talk about some of the things that I'm seeing presenting themselves in the weeds. So, an article from Sky News, guys. I'm just going to read it out to you. I've got a few articles I want to go through, but I don't want to share them all. But I will put all the links in the description. Money for nothing or low self-esteem. Why are more young people on sickness benefits? So the article talks about standing with a group of friends in the market square in Romford. Jordan reveals he's been signed off work for the last 4 years. He's 23. He's one of the growing number of young people living on sickness benefits. Now, this is kind of the problem now. There's no incentive for people to work, and people are looking at, and again, I don't want to keep bringing it back to this, but people are looking at people like the amount of money that the government are spending are sending overseas. People are looking at the amount of money we're spending on, on housing migrants. People are looking at all this thing, and people are genuinely thinking, why should I bother? I mean, I spoke to my friend who's, he's worked every day of his life. He's paid tax every day of his life. He is a role model citizen. He's one of those people who the government wants everybody to be like. He works 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. He comes home on a Friday. He goes to the pub. On a Saturday, he goes out with the kids. On a Sunday, he has his Sunday dinner, and then he starts again on Monday. He just wants to be left alone. He wants to be left alone. He wants to pay his taxes. But I was going through his finances with him. And after he pays tax, after he pays his mortgage, his council tax, his car tax, the loans back that he's got, he's hardly left with any money for himself. So then when you look at this and you look at, people who are unemployed in the United Kingdom, they're taught, of course they talk to people, and they say to people, well, how much money do you get? And they tell them how much, and it's all about disposable income, guys. Okay. These people, you say, well, how much disposable income do you get? And when you weigh this up on a real terms basis, there's not much in it. So why would somebody work? Why would they want to work and want to do this when there's no real incentive for people to work at the moment? And there isn't. And there's no real incentive for people to work because the government are taxing so heavily. So, and this is what happens. So you've got one end of the spectrum where Rachel Reeves is taxing everybody to oblivion, and then she's wondering why people don't want to work. Do you see the obscenity in this, guys? Do you see that absolute carnage where you've got Rachel Reeves saying, we need to tax everybody higher. Tax. Let's tax people into prosperity. and then you've got the, I don't know, the employment minister or whatever the role is saying, I don't know why people don't want to work. If you bring down taxes, you will bring up the amount of people who want to go to work. You will bring the incentive up. Guys, nowhere in the historical history, nowhere has there been any documented circumstances or any circumstances where people have been taxed into prosperity. It's absurd even thinking about it. So the next article I want to bring to you is, the pensions in the United Kingdom now. And again, guys, I'll bring all this together on why these are leading towards conscription of sorts in the United Kingdom. So a UK pension stream called deeply irresponsible after investing in Bitcoin. An unnamed, undefined benefit scheme became the first in the UK to make the plunge using 3% of its assets to buy into the cryptocurrency last month. So they're talking now about, these pension schemes investors investing into Bitcoin. Guys, this is not financial advice. I'm not qualified to give you financial advice. It's my speculation that the pension system is going to collapse anytime soon, because the pension system only works if you've got more people working and paying into this pension system than you have taking out a pension. So as we've just seen, we've got less and less people working, so more people not paying into that tax system. And these tax systems, because they're run by these, these big investment funds, those people, they run those investment funds and they expect a dividend. They expect paying for managing these pension funds. Rachel Reeves, again, she made some terrible announcements last month about the pension systems, which I'm not going to go into now, guys. I've made further videos, but there's a lot of things at the moment pointing towards the pension, an absolute collapse of the pension system, because I would suspect, like I did with the water companies, and then it happened, I would suspect this is a canary in the coal mine. And once you get one of these big pension companies say, hey guys, yeah, remember all that money you was paying in pensions? Yeah. And you guys expected to be paid out every month, and you let us make wild bets to try and keep that, to keep that payment up to be competitive. Yeah. Well, we kind of lost all your money. Once that happens, and again, this is not financial advice, but I think we're so close to that happening. Once that happens, all the pensions will collapse, and it will happen quickly. Because people will lose faith in the pension systems. Again, I just spoke about my friend. He was telling me how much money he pays into his pension. I couldn't believe it. I said to him, I said, mate, how much money will you get back from that? And when he told me how much money he will actually get back, it's a pittance. We worked it out. He could actually buy a house now for like, 100 grand or something. And then he could rent that out. And, and again, there's a war on private rentals at the moment. But we talked about this and the rental income he would get. He would have his house paid off for. He would have money in his bank now, or he could put that away to one side, and he would have more money. Guys, let me just be clear. Nobody on the planet can spend your money better than you. Nobody. Absolutely nobody. For your circumstances, you are the best person to spend your own money. So things like taxes, pension payments, I don't know why. I don't know why it happens, guys. Okay. It boggles my mind that when you go to work for somewhere, you have to pay into a pension scheme. It boggles my mind that other people think that they can spend your money better than you. Same as our taxes, guys. These people who we're giving our tax money to, Rachel from accounts, Keir Starmer, David Lammy, Angela Rayner, Jess Phillips, Wes Streeting. If these people were good with money, if they were competent people who were reliable, they wouldn't be in politics. They would be in the private sector where they would be making a lot of money. And I just don't care what people say. Oh, I wanted to go into politics to make things good for people. Guys, it just doesn't work like that. Okay. Normally, like I get it. Some people will do that, but those people are the wrong people anyway, because they're the ideological people who have no idea about the real world. I think to go into politics, guys, you need to have worldly experience. You need to have traveled the world. You need to understand business. You need to understand your local community, because how can you be making those decisions if you've got no experience? So we've got more about the pension systems now, guys. Okay, so the pension, we've got unemployment. All right, we've got mass amounts of young people on benefits, and look at the age that they're targeting there, guys, when they're talking about young people on benefits. Where is it? I think they said 17 to 20. I think somewhere in the 16 to 24-year-olds. So let's remember that age range there, guys. So we've got the young people on benefits. We've got the pension system now struggling. You know, it's out in mainstream media that pensions are now having pension funds and are now investing in Bitcoin, in cryptocurrency. Then we've got businesses warn of job losses threat as Starmer hopes to get 2 million back to work. Guys, it's absolutely wild. Remember what I said? You know, we've got businesses saying, Kia, listen, mate, you can't keep taxing us. We're going to shut down and we're going to put more people unemployment. And then we've got the government thinking, why are people not working? And then Rachel Reeves saying, raise the taxes, raise the taxes. We want more tax money, more people work. And people are like, well, hang on a minute. It's been destroyed from within. It really is, guys. It's getting destroyed. You know, you will know as well, small businesses who are really struggling, you know, small businesses who work on a month, you know, their cash flow isn't, they don't have thousands or millions in a bank account. And these are the people who employ people in the communities. These are the people who don't have international investment. And when we talk about international investment, it is always synonymous with international wealth extraction. So when you hear these big, you know, Keir Starmer saying, "Oh, we've got $100 trillion or whatever it is, you know, inward investment," in 5 years, that investor will want to have repaid his initial stake. So after 5 years, that's how much money will be leaving the United Kingdom, and that will be sat in an offshore bank account. So when you put all this together, guys, the breaking of the economy, destruction of small business, and mass unemployment of 16 to 24-year-olds, well, guess what? I've got a job for you. So I will share this article now, guys. So all this is coming about at a time when we've got this mass drive, young people to lose benefits if they refuse work and training, says Minister. Liz Kendall says the government wants to increase the training opportunities for unemployed young people. Well, guess where you can get a lot of training? And there will be consequences if they refuse help. So this thing, I'm going to speculate now, guys. Young people will lose their benefits if they refuse to take up work and training opportunities. Remember what they're saying there, guys, work and training opportunities. A minister has said ahead of announcing measures to cut the welfare bill. So, guys, listen, we're heading towards a global conflict of an industrial scale. We are going to need people in the military, and those people in the military are going to need to be kept separate from the teeth arms. And by the teeth arms, I mean the infantry, I mean the bangers, I mean the door kickers, the pipe hitters, whatever you guys want to frame them as. You know, those people who are going to be going out on the front line, kicking doors in, taking and breaking, and taking ground. So from this article, guys, you know, what we've got is, if we put all this together, young people 16 to 24 struggling on benefits because there's no incentive to get back to work. We have got, investment portfolios now investing in in Bitcoin, in cryptocurrency. We have got job losses being warned and more people being pushed onto an already broken system. Well, guess what? The military, it will give you, the training. It will give you the employment, and it will also give you a pension. So this is going to be the push, the drive to, and I said conscription costs. Again, what is conscription? Conscription will be getting people to join the military against their will. Well, what is the will of the people? And I think this is going to be the initial phase of getting people to join the military. Because once all these things happen, Once this drive comes into place and the recruitment drive goes up, and once boots are on the ground in Europe, in NATO, this is only going to escalate further and further. There's going to be a huge base to be needed in the military industrial complex. Now that's going to be, you know, we're going to have to make a war economy. I don't want to make this a video on Ukraine, guys. I want to make this a video on conscription in the United Kingdom. But we've already talked about in many videos that the European Union produces in a year what the Russians produce in 3 months. So you understand the, you know, the depth of the situation, the depths of the manufacturing problems that we're going to come up against. Like I've been saying, guys, for over a year now, we're heading towards a conflict of an industrial scale. Conscription, although I don't think it's going to be ever be called conscription, I do think there's things in the weeds now that are going to lead to a big military recruitment campaign, and a big campaign where it's going to be, they're going to want people in the military. Remember, Britain is going to take the lead role in this because Britain has the most potent strike capacity, but that is strike on teeth arms. Remember, for every one person you have on the front line, you've got about 7 people in the rear supporting them. So they're ranges from mechanics, they range from electricians, or, you know, there's a whole host of trades. There's chefs, there's clerks, there's admin staff, there's medics. There's a whole host of employment opportunities within the military that is not teeth arms, and by teeth arms I mean the infantry, those guys who are pushing forwards. So that's where I see the things going at the moment, guys. I think this is going to come out, and all these all these pieces to this puzzle are going to fit together very soon, guys. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to back to grid. I'll get you guys another video later. No, I'm still running, guys. I'm still running. I'm going to back to grid, and I'll get you guys another video later.